Today we have a collection from Hunkydory. It's called In Full Bloom, and Floral Delights is the theme. And we have these pieces. In fact, this is one of the cards that Heidi has made. And look at all of that detail. Okay, won't you please come play with us? Well, before we get into Heidi's cards, let me just kind of give you the layout of what is going on here. Now, the In Full Bloom Large Deco Kit has 8 sets, and each set has this. So you'll have a basic layer, which are all foil die cuts, and then you're going to have other die cuts that will be laying upon them. So that will create that 3-dimensional look I just showed you in the first card. Then you also have a sheet of pattern cardstock. So you can see that all of those match. Now, this is the camellia, and here we have some daffodils, very pretty. Then we have some crocus, ready for spring. Then we have these primroses, you can see. And then we have pansies, which always remind me of my grandparents, and tulips. So that's then Heidi has used 2 of them, which I'll show you in just a moment. Then to coordinate with this, and I love the fact that Hunkydory is doing this, there are the Miri cardstocks in the Miri. Let me show it to you out of the package. And these are some of the sheets that Heidi did not use. So you will have a chance to see. Now, the package has 16 sheets. There are 2 of each in 8 different colors. And they are a cardstock, so they're very heavy. So these are beautiful, and these are all A4 size, which is, you know, kind of 8.5 by 11 almost. Then the last piece is this. These is the In Full Bloom little book of In Full Bloom Floral Delights. There are 120 pages. They feature 20 designs. You're going to get 6 of each one. And I'll show you at the end the ones that Heidi did not use. So let's get started. And we're beginning with the In Full Bloom Large Deco Collection. And we'll start with the card that I just showed you. Make sure that this is all tidy. We're getting closer so you can see. Oh, maybe a little bit further out. Now, what Heidi has done is this card is 5 inches by 5.5 inches. So this is the flat card that comes in our 10, 20, 30, or 60 collection. It's scored in the middle. And I'm showing you this because I just want to make sure that people know. And a question is often, when you have a score line, you have a deboss on one side, and then you have a pop-up one on the other. So what goes on the center of the card? The pop-up one. So the bump goes in the middle. So that's the way we think of it. Then fold it and use your bone folder or your handles of your scissors just to smooth that out. So what Heidi did to make her card is that she simply trimmed 1 inch off the bottom. So instead of being 5 by 6.5, she wanted it to be 5 by 5.5. So that was easy to do, as you can tell. Then the next step she did was in looking at the colors of the collection that she chose. And this is the Anemone collection. I love the purple. And so there's the basic layer. And she used that basic layer as a stepping off point, obviously, for the colors that she's going to use. And she chose, actually, in all of the cards, she chose to use the gingham #1 6 by 6 papers. And what you get with that is on one side you get the larger gingham, and on the back side of the sheet you get a smaller gingham. So that is very nice because it's going to work with every single flower collection that we have. So that's a nice bonus. So she took her card and she cut off 2.5 inches from the front, leaving this flap. So this flap is 2 inches wide. And that is what she's going to use. She covered it with the large gingham, as you can tell. And then she took this base layer. In fact, it says base layer right up here, so you know exactly what it is. Popped it out. It already has that gold foiled edge. So she then matted it onto this sheet of purple Miri out of that Miri collection, and just went around it echoing the shape of this piece, which is kind of a modified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 octagon. So that worked nicely. Then she also went into this sheet. Now this is the sheet that also comes and it matches. So what you have here are different versions of this same flower. So you can see, like, this has got a petal missing, this has got a couple of petals missing, this has got more. And that's because as you layer them, in fact, let me just show this to you. We'll get in close so that you can really see how that works. So the full flower is out on the base, and then the various layers. So you can see this one has 2 pieces missing. This one has more pieces missing, but when they're stacked and put together with foam tape, they just layer beautifully. And you can see what she also did on the leaves, that they are attached with foam tape, but then she put the ends of them almost down on one on top of the other. So it gives this kind of bowed effect, which is a favorite look of Heidi's. So we've got this piece and we have it matted and we have it glued. Now you're just going to glue the left side of it to the left side of your card. And then we're going to take a pause for a minute and go to the inside. The inside is also covered with that same gingham, although you could have used a smaller version if you had chosen. When she matted this piece onto the purple Miri, she cut a second piece and used that to go on the inside. But the thing that I wanted to show you here is that, remember how we talked about some pieces are missing petals? Well, what Heidi did is she used those on the inside of her card also. So rather than stacking all of them on the top of the card, she saved some for the inside. And those that she saved are in this middle left area of the sheet that has all of the foil die cuts. So I just wanted to point that out, because this side you're going to save and use for the inside of the card. These other pieces you can use on the front of your card, layering them with foam tape, and that's going to work very nicely. Now also on this basic layer sheet, there's a border, there's also some greetings. And what Heidi chose is birthday wishes, and she attached it with 2 layers of foam tape in the middle of the topper, and then just brought it down and attached it over here to the card base, and then over here just 1 layer of foam tape. So that gave that arch look. Now, if you're seeing some dimension here, that is the caviar beads, and I wanted to just show you, just in case you haven't seen how to do this. And the Cosmic Shimmer Glue is our favorite. Also the Nuvo glue works equally well. And what you do is simply to have a container that can hold the beads, and the beads look like this. There are a ton of them in the plastic bag that they come in. This is the black, as you can see. She chose black, obviously, because of the artwork. It has little black dots in the center of that flower. So all you'll do is take your glue and get it ready. Hold your card over the container, and then put a couple of drops of your glue wherever you want the beads to be. So I'm just going to put, just a couple of dots, because she's already done a really good job with them. And then you simply open up the package, pour them on. Don't worry about it, because the excess is going to go into the container. Tap it off. And now if you see any white, like I see white there, that is going to be clear, because that's what this glue does. And you can push them if you want, but it's just that simple. Then you're going to open up the bag, pour the excess back, and you are ready to go for the next time. And we brought these out at Christmas time, and I'm happy to see how useful they are year-round. So that's great. Now we also have a little bee, and it's right there. So that's going to get foam tape just in the corner. So that takes care of our card front. Our card inside, well, the same idea. You're going to layer those couple of pieces, do the black caviar beads, And then hope your day is as wonderful as you. Did the same thing, although this has got one layer of foam tape, and then these ends are glued down. And there's another bee that's foam taped in place. So a very striking card, very easily made. And you can use fewer layers, you can use all of them, however you want to do it. And what we have left is this piece that will make some really pretty cards too. So that's our first one. Now let me show you the second. And this is also out of the same topper collection. Let me put my lid back on my glue so it doesn't dry out. Okay, now look at this. Isn't that pretty? So what she has used is this collection and the base layer. It's kind of nice to show you that because it gives you the finished look of what this is going to be. And these are magnolias, so that's going to work nicely. And what Heidi did is something different. So let me show you the sheet that has the printed cardstock. And I'll be right back in just a second. Let me give you a good look at this card because she's done some interesting things. So it has acetate, and there you go, on the front of it. And on the inside, there's that pretty look. And look how they echo. You've got a couple of the magnolias showing when the card is closed. So to create this, Heidi started with this sheet of pattern cardstock, so it's printed. And she used this area on the left for her card base. So she simply cut this out to be 5 by 6.5. Then she had this piece left. Now this is going to go on the front of her card. So you could cut this out to be 5 by 6.5 also, and set that aside because of that piece of acetate. Now, as I've said 3 times now, the card is 5 by 6.5. So the acetate is going to be 5.5, going to be 1/2 inch more by 6.5. Then you're going to score that 1/2 inch. And what Heidi has chosen, and I thought I would just show it to you. You've seen this before, but this is just a great, in fact, I just recently bought one, to place that, and then you can just score it very easily, and your bone folder stays with it, which is nice. So then you're going to put extra sticky tape, and the extra sticky tape is over here next to me. It is the red liner tape. Put that on the flap and then attach it to the back of that first sheet, and you are ready to go. Now, you have already cut this out in a full piece, but what Heidi did is she went along the edge and cut right along the flowers, also cut around this, and then that took care of it. So let me show you up close how that looked. Okay, so can you ignore this? And you can see how she cut right along the edge and around the flower. So you've got that really pretty pink border and the green border going into the flowers. Now there's also on this base layer, as I said before, there's a couple of borders. She used both of them on this card. So she simply attached with the extra sticky tape, the big one here and the shorter one right there. Just worked perfectly. Then, we haven't used this, we're going to use this on the inside of the card. So then she went into this piece. And it's the same process that she used before. And I've left my Post-it here so you can see that we're going to save these that are on the left side of the sheet. We're going to save those for the inside of the card. That gives us the freedom to use any on all of these if you choose on the front. Now, as you're layering these with the foam tape, you can decide how thick you want it to be. Now, this and the previous card are pretty thick. They're probably a good 1/2 inch. Now, if you're going to do that, this is going to be a card that you're either going to hand deliver or it's going to get tucked into a box and mailed, which is perfectly fine. Same thing with this one, or you could leave it flatter. So it's just up to you. So she's done that with foam tape. She also foam taped the message, "You're so fabulous," right down there. She did make a bow, and this is using the magenta and hot pink ribbon set, and she used the glitter piece. And as you know, Heidi absolutely loves the bow maker by Hunkydory. It flawlessly makes a bow, and there's a video on the product page of this in case you'd like to take a look. Now, the acetate that she used, Heidi really loves the heat-resistant acetate, although we do sell acetate by the sheet, so whichever one you like. The acetate by the sheet is a little flimsier. The heat-resistant is a little firmer, so whatever you choose. So you're just going to layer that with foam tape and do your bow, zot it in place, and then on the inside, that's where that base layer went, and another of the greetings right there. This is just glued down, and then a couple of layers of the flowers to go on top. And I think that's just a really smart move. Good for you, Heidi. Okay, now I have just these 2 cards out of the Deco Large collection, but the other 2 are using the little book of. So let me bring this in. And once again, the 6x6 gingham is going to work perfectly. And what Heidi used, and let me pull these in here, are these 2 sheets. Now, in the little book, you're going to get a couple of images of the same type of flower. So you can see this is using the pansies, geraniums. And let's see, this one is going to go on the front. So you're first going to trim this down. Now, in all of Heidi's webisodes and in mine, Paulette's Paper Play, we have written the instructions for you. So they're down below. You can just click on the cards and you're going to see the instructions. This is going to get trimmed down, and I guess I should first tell you that this got trimmed down to a 5x5 card. I guess you can see that. So this is going to get trimmed, I believe it's 4x4, and then it's going to get layered on the red gingham, the large red gingham, and then again on this kind of lime green Miri. And because that red and the green are in the colors of the print, that's just going to work very nicely. So you simply mat those twice. And then she took a ribbon out of the red ribbon set and wrapped it around before she attached that to her card base. So you want to make sure to do that, because then the ends are tucked underneath and they're not going to fray or pull away. She made and zotted a bow on top. And then the Thinking of You, that is out of our Tiny Words and Phrases. Now, you can get it in the sheet by itself with black, or you can get black in a sheet with, let me see, there are black, white, gold, silver, and brown. There's 310 pieces in that sheet. So you can get them either way. I believe in the instructions, Heidi chose this one because she likes to have the supply of them, but there is also this, so just wanted you to know. Now, the other thing that's going on the front is in the center of the flowers, she elected to take the jewel dazzles. And so there's just 1, 2, 3 right there. So that means of the 540, you have more left, okay? Now, you'll notice the fold is at the top, and on the inside of her card, that's where she used the second image. So you can see that kind of stripe down the diagonal. So she trimmed that also down. Now this time she matted it on the red Miri, and that's also part of the collection. In fact, let me just pull it out to show you. There we go. And then she also matted it on the small green gingham and centered it on her card. Now, this one also has Tiny Words and Phrases, Just Because is right there. And this time, she has also put the jewel dazzles, but these are the pink ones. So she's used the pink and the gold. Again, only 3 of them, but you'll use the rest of them. Now, the green bow comes from the green ribbon set. So all of her reds and greens just work beautifully with this set of papers. And it's nice to get 2 images. Well, you're going to get 6 of each, but to have 2 different pieces that will coordinate together. So that works nicely. Okay, I have one more card. It too is out of the little book of, and as you can see, she has used the gingham once again. However, let me just see. Okay, this is also, and this gingham number 1 is really primary colors. So red, green, yellow, black, purple, and blue. So that just is working with all of these colors. So in this case, these are the 2 images that she is going to use. This is for the card front, and this is for her card front. No, this is for her card front. I beg your pardon. And this will be for the card inside. Okay, let me set that aside. So she took, first of all, the green and trimmed it down, and then matted it on this copper. And isn't that pretty? That green and copper is really nice. Then she took this sheet and trimmed some of it away, and that's where you're going to see that gingham. Kind of what she did with the acetate and trimming part of that away. So she just trimmed this, and going right there, and leaving that one going out. Now, in doing that, she just glued it to the bottom left corner of her gingham. And then before she put it onto her card, though, she took the card and put it on a craft mat, used the pear green ink, and her blending brush, which somewhere I have, oh, there it is, and her blending brush, and simply went along the edge. She went all the way around, and you can see, let's see, well, I guess this will show you the difference between the edge being light green and being white. So it's just going to give it a bit of green to go along with the gingham. Okay, so then we have this glued down. We have our first layer down. She did add some dazzles, but we'll do that in a minute, okay? So what I want to do is show you what she chose to do. Now there are 6 layers, as I said, 6 sheets of every single image. So she elected to take 2 of them and to trim the individual flowers, and then a second of the images and just do the center and foam tape those. So basically, she made her own version of what was provided in the Deco Large kit. But she simplified it, of course. Now, she also added the gold jewel dazzles. So they're just 1 on each corner, or 1 on each flower. And then she, out of this set, this is a 1/4 inch glimmer ribbon. So it has this shine to it, and made it and zotted it and placed it. Now right here is the We're Together dazzles, and this set has really heartfelt comments or greetings about 2 people. So Thinking of You is used on the front, and she did use brown, so that's why that set works so well. And you get them so they are a long piece, a long strip, and they're also stacked like this. So Thinking of You will be stacked. It will also be in 1 row, so you can use them both ways. So that took care of our card front. Our card inside has some green at the top and along the fold. Now to create that, she simply turned this, or you can put Post-it notes right along that score line and then go in and do your blending brush. So that did a nice job. Here is the image she used on the inside. You can see it has a horizon line, and she did trim it down so that it would be like so, trimming off the edges. She matted it on the yellow gingham, and then again on the same copper that she used on the front, and put that in the lower right corner. The Missing You is out of the We're Together dazzles. And I told you that she added some other dazzles, so she used them on the front and on the inside. These are the thin line. This is the thin line colorful primary collection. It's got 6 sheets. You can see blue, yellow, brown, green, red, and black. Well, you can see the green that she used right here, just at the edges. And then on the inside, just along the outside of her copper Mary sheet. And this another bow and the jewel dazzles, and this card is done. Now, I promised that I would show you the other sheets out of that little book, and here they are. So you're going to see the same flowers that you saw in the Deco Large book, but you're going to see them in a different look. So here we go. I didn't put them together with them. I just pulled them out of the books just so that I could show them to you very easily. So here we go. And as I said, there are 20 in total, so you remember those from the first card. And snowdrops, here we go. And there are some more. And that. Okay, so you've seen everything. So to recap, Hunkydory has 3 pieces in this collection. We'll back up so you can see them all. Here is the Deco Large collection with 8 complete sets. We have the Mary collection with 16 sheets of Mary. And, you know, because these are A4 size, you have a lot of use out of that. And then you have the In Full Bloom little book. So that's the whole collection. I did add cards and envelopes to the Money Saver, so that's on the right side of the screen, because you're going to need something to put all these beauties on. And as I have mentioned, there are directions down below. Just click on the card. You can print them out if you like. You can even print out what the card looks like just to remind yourself, especially some of those techniques. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I do see this every time, but it is important. If you are watching us there, we hope that you will tell us what you think. Do you like this? Have you tried doing this layering with foam tape? It's really an old technique, but Hunkydory's made it very easy and very beautiful with all that foiling. Tell us what you think. Please subscribe, and then head on over to paperwishes.com. You can take advantage of that Money Saver. And we pride ourselves that a lot of companies will sell you product. We're certainly one of them, but I think we're the only one that gives you ideas on how to use practically every product that we carry. That's just an added bonus, and we love sharing it with you. So that's everything. That's a Money Saver. That's talking about YouTube. That's all the instructions, so it's all ready for you. I want to thank Heidi for the excellent job that she did, and I want to thank you most of all for being the best part of Paper Wishes. We'll see you again.